well, just as long as I get there safe, like I really don't care. Like,
But that's
whatever.
what submission is. That's what submission is. Is that you?
Down that I think everybody is at some point deserving to receive love and to be even into marriage if they do aspire for marriage.
I believe that society shapes how we view things and how we look at things in our life.
Make your own bed. And that's basically what Kevin Samuels is saying. His delivery is what people kind of throws people off. But basically,
aggressive or like violent, like where I think toxic masculinity is
no offense to men, that they also get this idea that, you know, women are just going to take care of them and everything is going to be like easy.
A domestic violence shelter, and he brought her up to be, you know, a $25,000.
Hell yeah, you need to judge in dating. It is what it is. You know, you can't not judge people just because you feel bad about it. Like, you need to know.
As much as I love my daughter, there are some harsh realities and some things that her mother and I teach her in order to help her to understand.
Like, I'm sure everyone knows a woman that, you know, had sex at the table.
What's going on? Welcome back to CKQ Podcast. I am your host, Clements, and before we get on to introducing the lovely panelists, do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button to this channel for more content. We go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we try to tackle all different topics when it comes to men and women, what's going on in the world, and pretty much try to help everyone's understanding of what's going on. But let's get to everyone's favorite part, which is the panelist. We have Chris, the Blooming Ebony.
hi. I'm the Blooming Ebony. You can follow me on Instagram at the Blooming Ebony and on YouTube as well, the Blooming Ebony. Thanks for having me again, Clement. Happy to be here.
We have Danielle.
Hi guys, my name is Danielle. You can find me on YouTube at My Sister's Keeper and on Instagram at Fly Nurse My Wife.
We got E Black.
Yo, what's going on? You know, I'm E Black from E Black TV. Make sure you follow. I'm glad to be back with all you guys, so let's get it in.
We got John.
Hey, I'm John with Black Wall Street Trading LLC. You should hit me up. Go to the channel if you want to learn how to trade options. And I'm always happy to be here, week in, week out.
And we got someone that just slid into home base.
Hey, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm Jesse. How is everybody doing? So I'm supposed to say what?
Just a little bit about yourself.
I'm an artist. I'm on YouTube. Well, I don't really like social media, to be honest with you.
You and I either, so it's okay.
So I just
but
joined.
We'll support you.
So I just started a YouTube channel, and it's brand new. I'm an artist, and I'm doing my own podcast about mental health. Well, a million different things, conspiracy theories, you name it, everything under the sun. It's the New Accusers podcast and Random Bleep channel, random poop, but the adult version of poop channel. And Jesse Austin Lewis is the name of the channel for my artwork, and it deals with physical, mental abuse and abuse of the system within the system.
All right, cool. I love it, man. I love it. But that was the small little hellos, and now we're gonna get on to the questions. You've all seen the questions to the panelists. What do you guys think? I don't think it was anything too crazy. No. All right, so we'll start with the first questions to the panel. Fuck your dreams, chase practicality. Fuck your dreams and chase practicality. Danielle, what are we talking?
Come back to me. I'm in the residence room.
Oh. Okay. Chris.
I think it depends, which is probably the worst answer that I could give. I think that you should acknowledge what your dreams are, because you're probably going to be the most motivated to do those, and then you should think about whether or not they're practical. So I think you should chase your dreams, but you should be realistic while you do that. So if what you really want to do brings in no income for 30 years, like you should be working, but you should still be working towards your dream. And so I think you should acknowledge your dreams and the things that are going to get you out of bed every morning, and figure out the most practical way you can achieve that. So I guess I don't agree with the first part. I think you should chase practicality, but I don't think you should ignore your dreams while you're doing that.
Okay. We're definitely going to circle back around to everyone. What is your name? You said your name was top left.
Artist formerly known as Jabu.
Jabu.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hello.
Yes.
How are you?
What can we call you besides artist formerly known as Jabu?
You could call me Jesse. You could call me Jabu. You could call me
All right. So Jesse,
whatever. Yeah.
Jesse, what's your thoughts on the question?
Can you repeat the question? That was a heavy question. I need that one more time. Say that again in my good ear.
Welcome to my panel.
Woo! This is fucking intense. It's fun though. Yeah.
Right here on the screen. Fuck your dreams, chase practicality.
So yeah. I think chasing is not the right word. I think following. So I think following your dreams. You can constantly never give up on who you are, what you think you are, what you want to be. But I think the bottom line is if it is affecting other people in your life, if it's causing problems around you, that's when it becomes an issue. But
what do you mean by that?
Well, if you're taking care of your bills, if you're getting, if you're neglecting other elements of your life, it's an issue. But if you're taking care of what you need to do, then I think keep going, never give up. I mean, that Harry Potter lady was 40 years old, living in her car before she got famous. Charles Bukowski was 50. People, just got to keep going. In my opinion, you got to keep going.
John, what do you think? What are you saying?
I mean, this question, it hits home for me. I came under a lot of critical fire because I took a break from normal life to pursue a formal education for some years, and there was a lot of times I was not present for holiday gatherings and things of that nature. But at the end, I have my life. I have one life, and when I set that goal up years ago, it was to earn a PhD, or actually an MD. But then I became practical. So the dream was medical doctor. The passion was medical doctor all day. But then when I sat back and I reevaluated, even after being accepted, it wasn't practical. So I knew I didn't have the support system to do it. So there was no reason to amass $400,000+ in student loan debt and not be able to have a job that can afford to pay that kind of loan off. So I'm not gonna say I settled, but
you went with the practical choice.
I went with the practical choice. So I pretty much said, "Fuck my dreams." and I chase practicality.
I don't look at that as fucking saying fuck to your. Wait. Are you not
Okay,
allowed to interject?
one sec. I mean, it's okay for now. E Black. Let's get E Black to go, and then we'll open up the panel for open discussion.
I'm torn about this. I think sometimes, as people, we strive to be somebody in life. We strive to be purposeful, meaningful. It's just tough. I will say, dream big and go for it. I will also say have practicality. And if you're willing to take the results for what it is, take him. But if you're not able to understand that it's going to take, like John said, sleeping in a car, broke life for a majority of your life, take it for what it is. But, I will also say to a lot of people, sometimes you do need to know when to hang it up, Some of y'all are not as good as musicians as you think you are. And some of you guys are not good as acting as you think you are. And so, sometimes you need to know what is actually practical for your lifestyle. And, one moment of fame and one moment of, euphoric, self-serving attitude or self-servingness is not worth ruining your life, especially when kids are involved, especially when you have family involved. So, in a way, don't mess up your life to the point where you're not going to be able to pursue your dreams, but also think practical, understand the room, and, make sure that you're clear on what you're doing.
Okay. Danielle?
I would never say fuck your dream.
Ooh, I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, I love Danielle. Who's Danielle?
Never ever.
Danielle. Danielle, you're my girl.
Yeah, like I agree
that
that you should be able to handle your responsibilities if you have any. But if you can do that and chase your dreams, then why not? If you're older, then hopefully you do have a family, and with the family you have a spouse, and hopefully your spouse can help support your family while you are chasing your dream. I mean, I don't think anything is. Morgan Freeman didn't become an actor until he was like damn near 50. It's a lot of actors that don't become actors till really late in life because they didn't give up. So I would never tell a person that. That's just so mean.
Jesse, you're definitely on some interesting stuff, my friend. But
It's called life.
Now.
It's called life. It's called life. I'm not on. I don't believe in drugs. Drugs are not accepted by God. Anything that distracts the mind from being mentally strong and losing focus is not good. Despite popular belief, I do not. Drugs are not.
That's going a little off topic. I like where you're going, but that's a little off topic. So we're going to switch back to the topic.
You mentioned it, brother.
We're going to switch back to the topic real quick. All right. So to everyone on the panel, like you were saying, like I believe Jesse said and Danielle said, Morgan Freeman.
He's always been 50 though.
Yeah. Morgan Freeman and even Oprah was on their couch. There's probably more people out there similar to them that just never made it though. So like, what do you say to that? No, crickets.
I wouldn't say anything to them, like, but I would still never meet them and tell them, hang it up. You can't do it. I think even trying to reach your dreams can give you some type of fulfillment. Quitting makes you a loser. And that's not a good feeling.
All right. 1 second, guys. Hey, Jesse. Jesse, you hear me?
Oh dear, am I getting reprimanded? Am I in trouble?
No, I would like us all to have a serious conversation. So let's have a serious conversation.
Oh, okay. So you're
I
about
think
to
these are kind of important talks. So I mean, if you don't feel they are, that's fine. But then you can step out if you'd like. But I think you'd be good for this conversation though, just because you as an artist lead a different lifestyle than most people. But if you don't feel that, then that's okay. I mean, would you like to join the panel? Would you want to be part of it? Serious question. No?
What are you asking me right now? I'm a part of the panel.
Yeah. Danielle.
So,
huh?
I think what you were talking about, like, let's be honest. Somebody who's not obviously
Looking
not
like a
as
damn
talented.
vampire with that shit on.
Why would you not tell them the truth?
How do I know that that's the truth? I'm not a fortune teller. I'm not a soothsayer. I cannot see the future. So just because they haven't made it at the moment don't mean that they can't. That would just be my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Nor am I a person that could give them an opportunity or take one away.
That's tough. That's tough.
I mean, all of this comes with some. I'm not gonna lie, it comes with regrets. I mean, I regret. Matter of fact, we had this conversation. I regret it all the time, and I just don't have that support. Huh?
Stepping away from your dream?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I have a lot of regrets about it because I know I messed up. I know that somewhere I missed the assignment. Maybe you can look at it two ways. I can look at it two ways. I missed the assignment somewhere in life, and I did not find a wife, a helpmeet to where I could move like that, who could hold it down while I do what was going to be prepare a long-term investment that was going to be great in a lot of different facets. I would be happier. I would feel more fulfilled. I would feel more purposeful. And aside from the economic advantage that it gives you, you have children who they've got a dad that they can look to, and I kind of set a strong example. But it's not it wasn't practical. Could I have done it? Yes. Would I have been gambling? Yes. Because there's other decisions that I made in my life that eventually going to get in the way. If it didn't get in the way in year one, they would start to get in the way in year two. They would catch up with me by the time you start to do clinical rotations. And you're only halfway there. And you can't let nothing get in. Once you get there, once you get out of year one and year two and you pass the ultimately step one and you're preparing for step two before you start figuring out your residency, you all in. Like anybody ain't with you, you got to cut them loose. Anybody against you, you got to cut them loose. Like you got to cut them loose. It's not time. You have no choice at that point. You're going to have to keep on that same path right there. Because now you're over $300,000, $200 some plus $1,000 in debt. You have no choice but to be a sniper at that point. Any test you gotta get, you gotta pass it.
What makes something a dream that people should be chasing, pursuing with everything that they have versus just a fleeting thought? Meaning, like similar to what John just said, some people go into $300,000 of debt for like a gender studies degree out of like, an Ivy League where you're only going to cap out at like $50K a year.
Maybe. And you don't even have an adequate enough degree to do that. Like you won't make nowhere near $50,000 a year because a bachelor's degree and you talking about a gender study program, nobody's gonna put you on a paper. You're not getting published. You don't even know how to write to get published. Like, you don't have the skill to perform. You don't have that skill set to perform at that level. You need a master's, at least a master's. And then you need to be sponsored by somebody with a PhD who has a lot of research experience, and you're going to be an assistant. So you're going to be an assistant for a while until somebody else takes you under their wing, unless you be their assistant as a bachelor holder of a bachelor's. That's just the way that works. Sounds good, but it's not practical. That's real. What I just described to you, that is the truth. That is just the truth. That degree gets you into grad school, where you had better go next immediately.
Well, let's put it in perspective of the people who say, hey, you know what? I just want to help people. So they may want to get a counseling degree, or say a sociology degree, in which they're being a person that works in the jails as a probation officer. Or, there are certain fields that, college will put you in debt just so you can accomplish what you feel like you should. It's a tough balance between what is worthy and how you get there. What's the worthy path? What is going to actually get you on the road to where you need to be first able to sustain a family, and also be able to make a contribution to the world in which you feel that you need to. So I've always felt that it's been a balance between those two. Some of the single folks that don't have much in life, I go for it. But some of y'all with kids, it's like, it's too late, man. You're gonna have to figure it out a little better. Danielle, I love the way that you look.
I want to ask you guys something. Should your choice of dream involve your parents' or your partner's decision?
Your partner, yes, because they're your partner.
Your dream should involve them.
Your decision about your dream should absolutely involve your partner, because you're going to need their help. Not what type of dream you have, but whether you're able to pursue that dream with them or not. Yep. If you're going to need their help, you definitely need their input.
Exactly.
What about parents? Now, if you're talking to kid.
I mean, if your parents is like millionaires, they willing to.
No, I'm talking to average.
Give you some money. Average. Well, if they average, they working check to check to pay their own bills. So I'm not one to take advice from somebody not living a life I want to lead. You can't tell me how to get where I'm going if you're where you're at, and that's not where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I would listen and be respectful, but I'm still gonna do what I want.
Okay. Go ahead, Chris.
Can you repeat the question? Did you say, should your dreams include your partner, or should you communicate them?
Yeah, no, that's it. Should your dream, your choice for your dream, include your parents' or your partner's input, and/or?
Okay. I think that they should know about it, so you know if you're a good fit or not. But I feel like typically with dreams, you decide that without them. And I think one mistake a lot of people make is when they communicate their dreams, their partner can distract them, if that makes sense. So they can either take you off course, and then you think, okay, I love this person, I'm going to neglect my dreams to be with them, and you can build resentment for them later on because you feel like they're the reason why you didn't achieve whatever it is that you wanted to achieve. So do I think that you should communicate them with your partner? Yes, to see if they're in alignment with your dreams. Should they necessarily be included? I think that heavily depends on whether or not your dreams align, because I definitely see like how it can lead to some deep resentment after 20, 30 years. If you realize that you guys did not want the same thing, but you were including them because you love them and you want them to be there, and then you sacrifice something, or they sacrifice something to help you with your dreams, not knowing that they were doing it. So That's a good question. It's a loaded question.
I'm going to get a little spicy.
Go for it.
I think when Ebony was saying their dreams, I was thinking it instantly in my head. I was like, as a man, forget your dreams. So really, it's her dreams. So if the woman wants to have something to look forward to, is usually up to the man to ensure that he can provide the stability and the access to her having the dreams that she wants. But in terms of a man, your dreams are not necessarily in society valuable. So your dreams, fuck them. So when she was saying kind of like their dreams, I was thinking instantly, I was like, it's not really up to me. It's not like my dreams.
Why would you marry
a
woman that your dreams aren't important to? Your dreams are part of your happiness.
Yeah, but
shouldn't your partner care about if you're happy or not?
But it's really about in terms of your situation. Yeah, if it's just us two, yeah, we should be supportive. But once children and housing and a lot of things get involved, it's kind of really not up to us. It's up to what I feel is I'm willing to sacrifice for the environment.
Is your spouse not able to help with those things?
I don't think it's like I said. I come from a different position to where I don't believe men should really care like that.
That's sad.
No, it's not.
To me, it is.
Are you saying you like men just kind of have to do what they have to do? Like once you have kids, it's just about getting it done, sort of.
Yeah. Oh, I'm having a heart attack.
So, when me and my husband had our first kid, I went to nursing school. Becoming a nurse afforded me a decent living.
Mm-hmm.
I heard what he was saying. He ended up getting laid off from his job. I told him, okay, well, take that last check and go buy all the stuff that you need to start your business. And start your business. And he felt uncomfortable, but it was like, okay, you just took care of us for this amount of time. And now I'm in a position that I can give that back to you. I don't want you with me feeling like what you feel or what you desire doesn't matter. I need us both to be fulfilled. So even if you try and fail, I'll prefer that than you to not try at all and feel like what you want doesn't matter to me, because that's the furthest thing from the truth.
I agree.
And we and at that point, I was pregnant again. So I had a child. He came with a child, and I was pregnant with a child. So that is 3 children. But I'm still fully willing to support our family while you do what you need to do to make you happier. Never would I ever tell my husband what you desire isn't important. At every step that I level up, I offer it back to him. Would you like to go back to school right now? They have free schooling. I can take care of us. I don't know what type of partner would tell you that you just got to do what you got to do.
I would almost say this, Danielle. I would almost say that if you didn't complete nursing, he would be in a position to say, hey, I want to start a business. Wouldn't work.
If I hadn't completed nursing, I was a nurse's aide, and even nursing aides here in Michigan can make $30 an hour. I would still be able to offer that to him.
Yeah, I get it.
For me, being fulfilled is more important than a day-to-day thing. We don't have to live in the best neighborhood. We don't have to have designer clothes. I can definitely downgrade how we're living to make sure you have a shot at being fulfilled. That is important. If you're going to be with me for the rest of your life, you're not going to ever be able to look at me and say, taking care of you, I wasn't able to to fulfill my dream, or that you stood in my way, or that you did not support me. Never, ever, ever would I ever. No. If he's willing to invest in me, I'm willing to invest in him. And even if I didn't go to school, he still invested in me, because since I met him, he paid all the bills. He didn't even want me working. Like, how could you look at a person willing to do and sacrifice that for you and not be willing to do the same thing back? Like, what type of love is that? Or is that pride that's speaking? Because I do know men that feel that way, but that's more so prideful, that they feel like they have to take on it all. Not necessarily like true. They will feel less because their woman has to help them while they pursue their dream. Because they feel like, I'm not a man if my woman has to do for us. That's pride.
And see, the dynamic of this, the dynamic of the question is the reason that I held off for a real serious commitment. Like, once I got going, because I would have been more like E Black. I would have let it go. Because I know me. I mean, my kids it was my kids who actually kept me going, just to be honest with you. Because after the Bachelors, I wanted to just settle in and go back to selling cars. And then Donovan and I had a conversation. And I opened up to him about how I felt. He was older at this time. He was like 14. And he was like, Dad, you already did that. Like, you showed people you were the best at that. You said you want to leave a legacy for me and my brothers. So we get to say our dad was a car salesman, which we're proud of you. But that's not what you really want to do.
What do you want to do?
Become a doctor.
You want to be a doctor?
And I'm almost there. Like, all I have to do is the research and publish the dissertation. That's what I'm working on now. Because I was in a dual program.
Good for you, man.
So
I think not a lot of people actually push for it like you're doing now. Not a lot of people actually push for that dream. But even beyond that, it's sometimes parents even discourage kids from their dreams. Because
that's why sometimes you don't need to share them with your parents. Once you get over a certain age, it's, I share my dreams. I share my goals with my parents. Goals and dreams are two different things. So, you understand what I'm saying? So my goal was to obtain a terminal degree outside of a master's, because some masters are terminal degrees. Like an MBA is really a terminal degree. They have a DBA, but an MBA is also a terminal degree. But the dream is to have a very successful, thriving enterprise that enhances the lives of the next generation of young Black men. That's the dream. And I'm laying the foundation now to make that dream work. That's where EBM come in at. That's where an online school, an online Christian academy comes in at, where I don't have to adhere to the curriculum of the state, which is heavily politically influenced, and I can teach subjects that allow you to, that are by the, that are required, the required core, but then I can have other classes like programming, accounting, and teach it the way practical, like not so much the book stuff, but the practical. Have an accountant teach that class, show them what the day-to-day jobs are, and let him or her structure that class how they want to. Give them some real practical skills and put them in a position to be really successful when they go to college. That's the dream. He can't hear you. Clement, you have no sound.
Yep, I just realized that. Thank you. Let's look at some of the comments real quick. I want to say, thank you for everyone in the chat. You guys are really keeping that chat alive. Thank you for that. Your partner or spouse's opinion matter until he or she is not supporting your goals your goals on the right side of the law. As adults, our parents' thoughts and feelings matter, but more it's your partner's support, your focus on you. Focus on you. If neither agree, then you live your parents' support and love your family, but still personally work on your dreams. Okay. Before I tell my wife something important, I take both her hands in mine. That way she can't hit me with them. Funny, man. That's what makes a relationship stronger.
Love your parents.
Okay.
Love your parents equals love your parents.
Every time you talk to your wife, your mind should remember that. This conversation will be recorded for training and quality purposes. Everything. Polar Nights, man. Polar Nights. You got some good lines. Had my credit card stolen the other day, but I didn't bother to report it because theft spent less than my wife. Spent less than my wife. There's no raising your hand. Go for it, Jesse. Go for it. This is open discussion now.
Oh, I forgot what I. Oh man,
he wasn't here for the question.
Oh, a little bit of time went by. What did I ask? Should
you share your dreams?
Yes.
Should you share your dreams with your spouse and with your
No,
parents?
should your spouse's opinion, should your parents and partner's opinion be involved in your choosing of your dream?
Okay. Let me digest that for a second because that's a big question.
All right.
Your parents know. Your parents. I mean, at a certain point, it's like, hey, you're not. Where I'm going is this way, and you're. That's the whole point. You leave the nest and all that. Your wife is your new family, so to speak. So I think it's like. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your wife's opinion of you. I mean, personally, my wife makes me a better person, and I grow stronger. So her input, I respect her so much because as an artist, I don't really think, I like to. I'm not used to this.
The regular 9 to 5 kind of life. You need more like inspiration to kind of like get your
Well, no,
ideas.
I'm talking about this computer time. I'm talking about this Twitter. You say one little thing and it's there forever. And I said, no, man, you're not. No. This is a little blimp of what I'm talking about, and people aren't seeing the bigger picture, right?
Okay.
So it's like, okay, well, yeah. So
Can I ask you a question?
Absolutely, yes. You can ask me a question.
When
artist formerly known as Jabu, my favorite artist is Prince, and Prince was a slave to the fucking record company.
So let me ask you a quick question.
I'm a slave to the art company, and I am artist formerly known as Jabu.
Hey, Jesse.
In honor of Prince. Yes.
Jesse, do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. When you were first starting out in your artist career, right? I'm assuming in the beginning it was much tougher. You didn't really make much right off the bat, right?
Impossible. Yeah.
So were your parents or did your family were they trying to kind of sway you off that path? Friends, family.
To be honest with you, no. I was very fortunate. My sister was incredibly supportive, and I was very, very fortunate. And I had girlfriends. So you're a fucking genius. I mean, girlfriends were like, but they put up with that for 5 years or 8 years, and then if things didn't take off, then it's kind of like, okay, well, and it took me a long time to realize the balance to get a real job and to understand the difference. you can follow your dreams. So I don't like the word chase. You can follow your dreams, but get a real job and pay your bills and do what you got to do. And then so it took me a long time to learn that. It took me in my late 20s really to learn that. Because longest job I had when I was 20, when I was in my 20s, I mean, I had quite a track record with jobs.
It was kind of like the one and done kind of thing. You were just there for a couple of months and then just left, there for the paycheck kind of thing.
No, I got fired from almost every job I ever had. No, I mean, shit. I mean, because yeah, it wasn't very inspiring. It was a bunch of bullshit. I mean, I needed a job that I felt I was actually doing something, improving somebody's quality of life, doing something. So,
okay.
So
this is a question to the panel. Then this is for you as well, but to the panel, just because I ran into that same kind of issue when I was starting out, and I want to do something. We all want to do something that kind of impacts, But the majority of jobs in the world, they don't impact. You know what I'm saying? Like most people are there to make that paycheck, and that paycheck is what's supposed to fund your side business or your dream. But that original first job, that's the practical choice. And that's the whole idea behind this question. It's in the beginning, you're not chasing your dream. You're chasing that practical choice. Because that's what's going to sustain your life. Agree, disagree? That's the panel.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
I agree.
I think for the most part, I remember when I was like, man, I had started living by myself around 18, 19 years old. And I had a good job for my age range. I was making decent money. I could afford me a studio apartment and whatnot. And I started working at a bank. And like I said, I looked left, I looked right, and I started noticing the people in the bank were 30, 40 years old. And I was the youngest person there. And I was just like, this is not going to work. Man. I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I ended up making a sacrifice to pursue my dream, which was to go back to college, pursue computer programming. So, that's just one of those things that sometimes it takes experience to understand what life is about. Some people do make the early sacrifices. That's why we try to tell our kids, go to school, graduate, then you can do the stuff that is necessary for you to build your dreams.
Jesse heavily disagrees.
Well, I don't heavily disagree. I just think that I just want to interject because I think there's a difference between. So I understand the word practicality. So I understand. So I think dreamers. I think people who are actors, musicians, dancers. So I think it's kind of a different world. It's a different realm because he's talking about, hey, this is my ultimate goal and I'm pursuing this, but I'm going to do that. That's not giving up on your dream. That's just, hey, this is where I got to be right now. This is what I'm doing. I mean, you could always achieve that. Anybody can achieve anything. You could keep your education. So I think I think I'm getting a little like, hey, because I'm thinking of it strictly as an artist.
You're getting a little what? Again, a little what?
I wouldn't say. I would say I'm getting. I would say I'm misunderstanding what he was saying, and I think as an artist or music, it's a different thing. It's like this is a labor of love. This is something you do. So it's like if people catch on or not, it's not the same as like, oh, I'm a nurse now, but I really want to be a doctor. I'm giving up on that. It's like with a side hustle, you make your money. When you're an artist, you make your money. You do what you got to do. I mean, I've had a job. I mean, shit, I've been living on my own since I was 14 years old. I mean, I've been hustling. Trust me, I know how to hustle. So it's it's a different thing.
So I guess because dreams are good. I'm not saying for people not to pursue their dreams, But when you're talking to someone who says, I'm going after my dream, but then every day they only work at it for an hour, and then the rest of the day they're kind of like pissing away their day, is that them really chasing their dreams? Shouldn't they be going more for the practical choice at the end of the day, which is get a job and then work that still work your dream that hour until you eventually getting the motivation to do it for 8 hours at a time, or push yourself for far more? Because again, no one's going to hand you your dream. Like you said, in the artist world, they don't. You're working for the companies for a long time before you're doing it for yourself.
I think it's a different mentality. I think a lot of artists, I think it's a different mentality. And to break that mentality is tough.
Entrepreneurs have that mentality too.
Yeah. Anybody who wants to start, so they don't subscribe to that stuff. It's like we're conditioned and brainwashed to, think that we need to be, oh yes, in the 9 to 5, and we think that's all condition. That's all social engineering and conditioning. But it's not true. You could, people are catching on more and more. I mean, you could drive an Uber for a little bit, and then you could go teach some classes, and then you could go do this. So, in a way, it's a good thing. I'm not saying the pandemic was, good or anything, but
You probably help people realize a lot more of what they're actually capable of from doing at home, or probably shooting more for what they actually really want to do as opposed to their miserable 9 to 5.
it's getting priority. Yeah, it's getting priorities. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's getting priorities together for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, any last thoughts before we close out the question for the next close comment?
Just something to follow up with him as a segue, because something that Jabu just said. The mass of men lead quiet lives of desperation. Henry David Thoreau. And that's kind of what he was talking about. They come out of the desperate. The mass of men lead quiet lives of desperation. Henry David Thoreau. They go out of the desperate houses into the desperate workplace. And he goes on, he used that metaphorically to describe the situation of a person who works in 9 to 5. It's not that you are ecstatic to go to work. You have to go to work. And your life would come tumbling down if you did not go to work. If they told you you're no longer wanted here. That's how so many people not only killed themselves during the Great Depression because of they lost everything. They lost their job, and they were about to lose everything. And that fear of loss was enough to just say, I give up, because they know nothing else. Like a man has, and by him saying it is socially constructed, that's a part of your purpose. That's a part, but who says you have to find your purpose in a 9 to 5 job? You can find your purpose in your own business. You're a provider. I got that. It's just if you understand that purpose younger, then you can build to control your purpose as a man. If you start doing the things younger to set yourself up like that. I'm so late because I didn't do everything. I did enough to where I can build from here and go forward like a rocket. But I also damaged enough to where I couldn't do this sooner. But then there's two sides to that coin. I wouldn't be who I am because I wouldn't have the experience that I had. And I wouldn't influence those whom I influence because I would not have that knowledge to be able to do that. So, and that's all I can say about that. That's all I'll say about that.
There's actually last thing, and then we'll move on to the next question. Jim Carrey. Actually watched a couple of. He's great, man. Honestly, I love Jim Carrey. He said, I watched my dad work every day of his life at a job that he hated, and when he was real close to retirement, he got fired and got nothing from it. all of his life he worked and gained nothing out of that. So what he understood from that is, I'm going to go all out at my dream, because if I fail at that, then I failed going after what I wanted, as opposed to work for someone else and then still get all that ripped away at any point in time.
My mom
So
and I had a conversation about what you just said. She tries to lay into my son, and I stopped her. I say, as his father, I told him, you take a break from school. That boy been going to school straight for 12 years. This whole mindset, you go to school, you go to college, you do this, you do that, and you do this, and you do that. I said, my son is creative. My son knows how to build a following. My son is good with what's going on now, the skills that he's great at editing.
Social media.
I mean, his boy, what? Man, he ain't get 30 plus thousand followers, and some of his videos go viral and get 50 some thousand views because he don't know what he's doing. I can't do that. And I'm about to have a whole doctorate. So you just let him be. Leave him alone. He thinks different. He doesn't follow the in crowd at all. He's a trendsetter.
Usually the people that make it.
But see, she was trying to put him in a pigeonhole. Young men need to do. I said, what do you want to wear to school today, son? Shorts and a hoodie. Put your shorts and hoodie on. We're gonna have a father and son breakfast. All right, great. And probably going into the senior year, half the campus, the boys are wearing hoodies and shorts. He made that cool because he's popular. He was a quarterback for a while, starting quarterback. So, and then he didn't want to play no more. So I learned something from that, because before I would have been, you need to do this. You're going to be a failure. You're going to end up a statistic. You're going to do this and that. But I listened to some things that me and Unique talk about. Like, she always hits me with, where did that belief come from? Where did you get that from? And I think about that a lot. Now, I argue with Yannick until the cows come home, and she know it. I will disagree with her sometimes just because I agree with her, but I want to argue that day. But she was right about that. Where did that belief come from, and how is it healthy? And I determined for my son that that belief came from generations, and some was constructed because they couldn't do it. They want you to do it, and they want you to live through them. Some, there is some truth behind it, but is it valid for him? Like, would you, if, for instance, like what she did have that talent, but let's just say he didn't want to quit football. Would I push school on him if he was projected to be in the top 10 drafted? No. You'll let him come out early and everything. You would not care, because think of what it makes sense. Well, everyone needs, man, listen, if you're going to go to college and get an education to make $50,000, and that's reaching really $38,000 a year, and owe $60,000, or these folks is telling you, I want this boy now, and I'm gonna give him a $9 million signing bonus and $5 million a year. I'm sorry, I don't have to do the math on that. If you want to keep making him go to school, that's something that you wish you had done. There's nothing that's practical. There's nothing practical about that.
Come on, John. You're being a little rough, man.
You know there's nothing practical about that.
We all understand we're working in it at these dead-end jobs. They give you no promotion. They give you no payment. So we want better for our future. So that's the reason why we want them to get the degrees at an early age, because we know that we're not going to always be here to support them.
Well, no, I mean,
it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, hey, get it done early so you can do what you want, but it's also get it done so you can do what you want. It's kind of, we can't say, oh, we want you to build up debt. We want you to just do things that you don't want to do. It's also, hey, we want you to do things that you want to do.
Well, that only applies for certain kids. Like for each kid, I think is totally different. You see what I'm saying? Like we would not have that conversation with a kid who's going pro, like, because that wouldn't make sense. Like I would tell that parent, like, what are you doing? Like, even if he got hired at $200,000 a year, this man could pay that man's salary. Like, what do you mean? It's no reason. And by him having the skill, like, because he edits really good. He's good with editing and all this other stuff. These are the type skills moving forward into the future that pay.
Yeah.
Marketing companies will pay for this. I mean, because even if you go get a degree in it, don't mean you can do it.
I guess what I'm saying is that trade does better than no trade. In this grand scope of things, in terms of when we know that kids will start having sex, and
because you're right, like you're right, you are definitely right. But I believe before I would have been 100% exactly what you just said, and I would have been across all domains, like across. You need that paper. You got to have credentials because it's all about credentials, and I would not be wrong in saying that. But do I want to push this off on the kid who has skills to do other things and is showing obvious signs of burnout because he's been in school operating at a high level for so long that he cannot take another year of school at this point in time? I feel like he needed a big break.
I was in the same position. My grandmother, she forced me to go to college at 18. And even though it was computer courses, and even though I was easily passing the class, I was burnt out. I didn't want to go. I was 12th grade, but what I did end up doing was accumulate more debt. I ended up doing a lot of things that messed myself up for maybe the next few years. So, it's kind of like a balance. You want to have enough support to say, hey, fulfill your dreams, but you also want to say, hey, get it done early. Because you do want to do what you want to do. Because you're going to end up going back to it anyway. Sooner or later, somebody down the line is going to tell you, hey, you need these credentials to do
life is going to turn you around just like it. And that's the conversation we had. Is that, look, I'm not going to force you, son, at all. And it kind of shocked him because he knew how I am. But I would say, just remember this. How old am I again? What am I doing? What have I been doing for the last 7 years? If you don't want to end up like me, because I was just like you, I did what I wanted to do, and I don't regret it. I went into the military, did a lot of great things, got a lot of life. I could die tomorrow, and I promise you, I've done more than the average person. Way more than the average person. Travel more than the average person. But I haven't hit my goals and my dreams yet, and I'm doing it so late. You don't want to be like that, then you start when you feel you start when you feel like it, but just know I'm living proof of what you could end up doing. And this, trust me, you do not want the highlight of your week. Man, I got a 96 on a research paper. Like, nigga, you in school still?
Yeah.
It's like a major accomplishment. The other guys was like, man, I got enough money in the bank to retire, or this did that, or this did, and I'm somewhere down in the 20s, somewhere in there, 25, 26, at most 35, because I put my entire life, this part of my life, on hold for so long.
Yeah, I hate to be the Debbie Downer of the group. I just feel like I'm such a dreamer and I'm such an hoper, but I feel like I'm just like,
he is a damn dream killer, because now I feel depressed. Like I should be out of school by now. What the hell?
It's all right, man.
I'm joking.
All right.
That's Woody Blake.
So we are going to go do a quick reaction before the next question. So if you guys can do me a favor and mute your mics. I'm going to say fair use.
On this episode of Lapeef Let's Talk, where everybody is doing the same thing and not getting the results. And you need to get in the presence of somebody that may not look like you, somebody that may not think like you, that can give you a different perspective and add value to your life so that you'll be able to go through and be more successful at what it is that you want to do. It's not about being in the majority, it's about being in the minority. And we got it backwards. We think that you have to have a whole lot of experience in this specific space, when the reality is that the goal is to get it right once be successful, be successfully married, and then be able to pass that same information on to somebody else in order for them to do the same thing. But for some reason, we think that doing it wrong and then continuing to give wrong information to everybody else is what makes more sense. I don't understand that.
So
I
let me
have no
explain.
clue why that makes sense to people.
So let me explain. When we're talking about business, when we're talking about things of that nature, that totally applies.
Have you not been paying attention the last couple of weeks?
learning, all right? Still new to all this. But that was a little clip from the Lapeef Let's Talk show, or the Lapeef Network. That was Anton talking, spitting a lot of facts, I think. What did you guys think of that clip, what he was saying?
Man, you already know how I feel about that. What? Come on. We just had this conversation. Me and you just had this not even an hour ago.
Well, speaking
What
into
happened?
existence, that was me and you. Now we're on a panel with the world.
Okay, so what I was telling Clement was about when you look at it takes a village to raise a child, right? And it feeds into this right here. You got a guy over here was the womanizer his whole life. So when you have relationship issues, Mr. Jake, he got an answer for you. You want to know how to make something better, he got an answer. You want to know why this might be happening, he got an answer. Then you got Mr. Pete, multiple businesses. You want to talk about business with him. Then you friend your mom and your family was friends with Mr. Ted, the banker. And when you start putting things together, it created your network. It gave you an outlet, because sometimes your parents don't have all the answers. Sometimes you really don't want to talk to them about certain things. And there was a time where you can just reach out and grab a little bit from the neighborhood, from the elders of the tribe, from right within the village. Okay. But I told him that's how I live my life right now. I'm the product of many, many men that I always hung out with older men. When I say hung out, I mean I would go sit and talk to them, ask a ton of questions, and they would just tell me. They would tell me stuff, and everywhere I go, and I would learn about the culture in that area, learn about a lot of different things. But then I learned how to network. Like a lot of the ideas that I come up with, these ideas are nurtured by me getting further information. Like I know I'm on the right track because I can bounce this idea off of somebody who's been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. And so I find network opportunities that way. And to me, as a man, you should do that because it improves survivability, it increases altruistic behavior, and it improves your chances to be a provider. Like when it was all said and done, if I needed to if something catastrophic happened and I was not properly prepared, right? Then there's people I can go to because of how I've conducted myself, how I've stayed on my square about beliefs, how I stayed on my square about how I handle money. If I needed to go there, I could go there.
Anyone else before we hop on to the next question? Because I actually believe the next question ties into a little bit of what that video was.
No comment.
Okay, so we were going to the next question for the panel. We always want help, but only in the way that we want it. We always want help, but only in the way that we want it. So I was going little personal story. I am in the process of trying to get a house, and I had this perfect line vision of how I was going to get it done. I didn't really want to hear anything from this side. I didn't want to hear anything from this side. And there were some people that were telling me some ideas that were actually very good that would have gotten me to my goal like a year prior to now. But I was so set on how I wanted it to get it done that I did not want to hear anything that they said. Fast forward a year later, now they're in the position that I could have been in a year ago had I listened. And it's a great humbling experience because sometimes you have to get out of your own way, was what I heard, was what I learned from that. So what do you guys think? E-Black.
You know, it's almost one of those things in which when I was telling my story as an 18-year-old going out on my own, it's the only reason why I did it because I wanted to do it. And the truth of the matter is that my parents told me to stay because of X, Y, and Z. You don't want to pay the bills. We're going to help you, support you. I wanted to do it my way. Well, it took me about 10 years to get out of that hole that I dug myself.
10 years, jeez.
Yeah, it did.
What?
Yeah. Because, I mean, we're talking... you're on mute, John. I didn't hear you.
But you learned a lot from it, though.
Yeah, but the lessons I learned...
they were hard.
They were hard, but it's, in retrospect, I wish I would have just listened in the first place. And I wish I would have done the things that were in front of me. So, that's the hard lesson in life. But John is right. You learned more, and the lessons are now more ingrained into me to know where I can ingrain them into other people and to my children. So, it is one of those things in life. A hard head. I want to say a statement, but I can't remember. But it
make a soft ass.
Yeah, it makes a soft ass. So it's just one of those things that listen to your elders, but also elders have to understand that it's just the end. I've always said it like this: it's an ever living cycle. Children are gonna do what they want to do, and some are gonna listen, and some aren't, and we just gotta get used to that cycle and deal with the repercussions of our actions and the chances we take, versus the choices that we make and the consequences that come with those actions. So, I don't want to be all too philosophical about this. Girl, man, I've been talking all week. I'm tired.
Hey, listen, I see you. You're all over YouTube, my man. So
no, I'm not. I'm not, man.
Sure. You're a humble guy as well. I see.
Yeah, I'm in these little small ghetto streets of YouTube, and but like I said, I don't want to get all too philosophical about things, but I want to say, hey, live your purpose, do what you feel that you need to do, but also learn that people have gone through the same road and take heed. But also, you're never gonna learn until you get the experience. So,
Danielle, you seem like you have some downtime. So, what's going
on? My mom is the type that doesn't take help unless you are given the help that she wants. And I think seeing my mom do that, it was like, that's not the way I want to be. If I need some help, if what you're offering me is something I need, however you're willing to help, I'm grateful for it. As far as earlier in life and bumping my head and going my own way, I absolutely did that. But I think that was only because, like I said, I can't take advice from somebody who is not living a life that I want to lead, and nobody around me was doing anything I wanted. My mother has all the character that I adore and would role model myself after. She has the work ethic I need. I love her personality. She's optimistic. But as far as like what I actually wanted to do and how I wanted to live my life, I didn't see anybody that I can go to and be like, well, how did you do that? So for me, I feel like it was necessary because it was no other way for me to learn. And I love the person I am. So the time that it took for me to become who I am, I love everything that I went through.
Similar to this comment right here. Sometimes we need to learn. Sometimes we need to learn for ourselves. Maybe that's the only lesson that educate us. Free lessons.
My mother hated hearing that.
We need to pay for our lessons. I learn, then make new mistakes.
You know, there's some power in that, and there's a lot of. No, I'm serious. There's some power in that. When somebody teaches you something, it's information, but you don't really get the value. You really don't. I learned more when I lost money about trading than when I was being successful, because I learned within 5 minutes how to the proper way to close out a butterfly spread and how fast I would need to do that before my account would take a tremendous hit. And I learned how to fix it. I learned how to fix the iron condor when the market moves against me. But I learned because I was in the middle of losing money. But then the next time I did it and I didn't lose as much, or I was able to make it better each time. Sometimes experience is just the best teacher. When I first learned how to play pool, I was trying to get them old men to just show me, and they wouldn't. They said, go and get your allowance and you come in here and I play you a race to 5 for $1, but we're going to bet something. And I was like, okay. And then when I got older, as I got older in the pool hall, they increased it to where the ones that play real good race to 5 for $20. And the whole tip was, I ended up asking one day, why y'all always play for money? Why don't y'all just work? Then they start holding them their cash wads out, and it was like, no, sir, I ain't gonna do that. But when you take a shot and you have nothing to lose, it means nothing.
It's a shot.
But when you got something to lose, you look at that shot in a whole different light. The light on that ball shines different than the light on the ball with nothing to lose on. And it stuck with me. And they were right, not just in pool, but in life. It's all about value. It's all about value and meaning. Compare it together. Pairing that together. When it means something, you find value in it, and it means something, you're gonna look at it a whole different way.
That's why they say most adults should become better when they have children, because now they have something to actually be working for.
Mm-hmm.
They have something to actually be fighting for, to make money for, to wake up every day for.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris, what are we talking?
Yeah, I think this is definitely true. One thing about asking for help is that you have to acknowledge that you don't know. And I think that's the hard part for a lot of people. So they'll ask for the help, but they don't fully acknowledge that they don't know how the help should be given, how it should look. When it gets there, there's this boat story, and it's like this man's in the middle of the ocean, and he's like, God will save me. And then a boat comes, and then he's like, oh, no, I'm okay. They ask, hey, man, you need help? And he's like, oh, no, I'm good. God will save me. And another boat comes, and he's like, no, I'm good. God will save me. And then he drowns. And then God's like, what the heck, man? I sent you boats, and you didn't take any of them. Yeah. And like the idea is for him, you know, he thought that he knew enough. So when the help came, he would know what to accept. But the idea is you need to go into asking for help as if you don't know anything, because you don't know which is the blessing. You know, think about it as you walking completely blind. One issue that I think that we have is, especially in America, is that with freedom comes responsibility. In other countries, I feel like they tell their stories, and these stories are valued. When I think about that video where Anton was saying, not only do we do the wrong thing, but we teach the wrong thing. No one wants to acknowledge that they were wrong. And, you know, I feel like other stories, when they're told, those stories are valued, and we learn from their mistakes, and we apply that to our lives. But in America, because we have so much freedom, we don't acknowledge that there is something to lose, and it's not just on us, but it's on our families, it's on the people who surround us in our environment. And so I definitely think this is true. I think it's just we have so much pride in thinking that, oh, I made it this far, I can do the rest on my own. And then when it's time for you to look for the help, you think that you've gained enough knowledge up to this point to know what type of help you need. Like even at work, people will ask questions and they'll ask me a question and I'll give them an answer, but they'll kind of guide me through how I'm giving them the answer. And it's like, oh, I thought you didn't know. How are you going to guide me through how to answer your question if you came to me with a question? And it's just pride, not wanting to look like you actually need the help, if that makes sense. Trying to prove that you actually know more than what you do, or you don't lack the knowledge,
That's what Anton and even Kevin Samuels actually said it as well, which is your ego should have no place at all when it comes to you in your workplace. Your ego should not be there. You should be trying to be the best and move up the ladder in whatever way you can. If you're saying, "Oh, I'm too good for this project," chances are you're really not that good. You should be doing whatever you can to get better. And when your ego is there, it's always going to be stopping you from growing, because you're always going to believe that you're above whatever it is that you have to do to get better. But I think everyone went, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever, I guess, personal experience similar to mine? Have you guys ever experienced this, where you didn't actually want to take the credit, or didn't want to take the help, didn't want to listen, then later on it actually came back and bite you?
Shit, how many times?
Yeah.
Stubborn as hell.
Well, for anyone out there listening, for anyone that could actually learn from it, you want to share your stories?
Yeah.
If it's not too graphic.
You talking to the panel or?
To the panel, yeah. It's everyone. Yeah.
For me, it was femininity, actually. So I think you guys all know Japrice, possibly. So she used to always post on Facebook, and she would say things like, women should strive, to be wives. We should, carry ourselves well. And it wasn't that I didn't think about these things, but I was very defensive because I had been taught a completely different way. And I had also been taught that, if you're good here, you're going to be great here. If you have a good career and you can run a business, and, at this point, I'm like, I'm an accountant, I can do this, I can do that, of course I'm going to be a good wife. Like, when I find him, he's going to want me. And then I went through a breakup. And he was like, I don't have what you think you need. And I was like, what the heck does that mean? What does that mean? And I realized that there was so much about me that I didn't know. And that I actually, even though I was on this path as if, I'm kind of like I'm too good for marriage. Like, it will come to me when I'm ready. I was wanting that from him while seeking this career, if that makes any sense. And it just kind of like slapped me in the face. Like, she was saying this for so many years and trying to like get us to talk about it and have the conversation and have the discussion. But I just thought that it was beneath me, if that makes sense. But now I reach out to her all the time for advice and for all these conversations. So I would say that's probably like the biggest one. I would say I was a Kevin Samuels girl, one of those women who call in. I was probably in that mindset for a couple of years.
Wait.
What?
Yeah, not as bad. Definitely not as bad. Because the thing is that my mom was telling me, be self-sufficient. But she was a housewife. And so it's kind of like at odds, where she's telling me be self-sufficient, but I'm watching her be a housewife. And so luckily it was more like monkey see, monkey do. So I ended up kind of gravitating towards her actions more than her words, but I still had that voice in the back of my head from her, other people in my family who are like, go make the money, go make the money. You know, like I think I even told a lot of you that when I was like 16 or when I was really young, I made the decision that I was going to like have a dog and die alone. Before Kevin Samuels even said it, I was young and I was like, there's no reason for me to ever get married. Yeah, so I wasn't crazy like them where I was like, men suck. I hate men. I don't need a man. Definitely not there.
If he's not making over 6 figures or 7 figures, then he's not worth it.
Definitely not there. But I was on the track of, you know, pursuing my career and just hoping that a man would I was go pick one off the tree, and I'll just be like a magic wife. You know, like God would just like bless me all of a sudden, and that's not how it works.
That's surprising. That's surprising. I do my job. I'm sure y'all got downplayed like me when it comes to accomplishments because someone else is taking your credit because they're above your title / status. I've learned over the years. Anyone else share stories about their masculinity course, I guess? All right.
Okay. I would say in high school, dealing with women, I've always been told to handle women one way. And I just was like, man, I'm going to do it my way. And then after a while, I learned how to balance the dealings of women. So I could definitely say that, you know, sometimes you're stubborn in that way. So I don't want to get too graphic. But
what do you mean?
You know, I'll Be Sure, Belle Biv DeVoe, you know, Jodeci, Shy. You know, I grew up in that generation, so
yes, we did.
It's, you know, the As Yet, you know, all your greatest '90s hits that everybody loves, Babyface. You know, that's the men that they tried to raise.
Sweat,
and it's just there's a fair balance, is all I'm saying.
Okay. There's a fair balance between simping and standing true to your masculinity, essentially.
No, it's just
he wasn't simping.
He wasn't.
He was not simping. That ain't no simp right there.
The way that you approach life.
No, again, I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking.
It's just you learn what's really going on out here.
You know why I'm laughing? I know why I'm laughing. And E Black got an idea why I'm laughing. Cause, like Clement, let him finish what he gonna say and just move on. Quit trying to make him go deeper on into elaboration.
Why not?
There's a reason.
There's the whole point of the panel is to go into deep topics, all right?
Well,
can there be a lesson
elaborated on?
All right. How about this? Can there be a lesson out of this?
Can there be a lesson? Yeah.
Yeah, it could.
Okay. Listen to more Young Thug, okay, in Future.
Okay. I think I get where you're going with this. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lesson, though.
Nah, it's just the way of life. Sometimes, but like I said, I would almost say that I got comfortable in my own right of way of handling things. I figured out my own path, which was a good balance. So yeah, there was ways that, you know, at a younger age that I ignored people and I ignored, you know, the men around me to tell me to handle certain things a certain way. And I learned my hard ways of saying, hey, I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. But then I also found my own way, which is more satisfying. So
yeah, because now that's you. That's more comfort in what you're comfortable moving in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got comfortable. I got real comfortable. All
right. So we're going to move on to the next question for the panel. Let's start with Chris on this one.
Ooh.
Do boyfriend and girlfriend titles hold any importance? Do boyfriend and girlfriend titles hold any importance?
Wait, you really starting with me? Oh man, that's dirty. Messed up. Okay. I think before you're married, no. I think your husband is your boyfriend, your wife is your girlfriend. I think if you're cohabitating with someone that's your partner, especially if you're splitting things 50-50, it's literally like you're a partnership. You know, you have other agreements in your, or other, you had an agreement where you maybe do certain things, you don't do certain things, but as far as you having a certain level of risk that you have in a marriage, you don't really have. I think the boyfriend girlfriend title, personally, I think it makes people feel better about their situations. Now, if you're someone who personally really doesn't believe in marriage for whatever reason, that's different. But for women or men who want to be married but they settle for this title, I think it means absolutely nothing before you're married. Not saying that you can cheat if you made a conscious decision with that person that you're not going to cheat on them, you know, then I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, you know, maintain your exclusivity. But as far as it having some type of weight, if you have a certain goal in mind, no, I don't see it.
In the real world, it holds no weight. It doesn't carry water.
Yes. Yeah, especially if your goal is to be married. I think you're just kind of making yourself feel better. You're just holding on to something that's probably not there, possibly. Especially for those like 10-year, 15-year relationships where the woman wants to be married and the man wants to be married, but they keep going back and forth. And yeah.
All right, so everyone's on the same consensus here. Danielle, E-Black. Danielle? You looked up a question.
I think every title has importance because with every title comes expectation. I purposely avoided being a girlfriend for so long because I did not want to hear about your problems. I did not want to be expected to have to care about you. Even being a girlfriend and a boyfriend, there's an investment there that I wasn't willing to give. So if you're a girlfriend or a boyfriend in a relationship that's not going anywhere, then it's not important. But maybe I'm just big-headed, but anybody who get in a relationship with me always want more. So I wasn't willing to go there.
Effect?
No, because it's the truth. But I mean, anybody, they gonna want more. I've never dated a guy that did not want more from me. So once you wanted more, it was time to go because I wasn't seeing the same in them. I was just enjoying life. So if you got too serious, then I had to go. I had to go because I'm not about to lead you on and be having you give me a title and be making you feel like I care about you, or I'm not about to do none of that. So for me, every title has an importance because every title has an expectation.
It comes with expectations. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So to you, it holds an importance. I mean, that's different though. Honestly, I haven't heard. I guess that's why some people would avoid relationships. But yeah. Okay. Anyone agree? Disagree?
No, I agree with her. I agree with her totally. You know, back when I was in my single days, back in the day, I tell people all the time, I've literally only had a handful, maybe a few girlfriend situations. Like the rest of them were just not title worthy, and it was because of the same reason why Danielle said it, because it comes with more. It comes with honor. It comes with the responsibility. So a lot of people position themselves to be in the situation, but they never presented themselves in a way that I felt that was important. So yes, titles were important to me. Because if I'm going to say you're my girlfriend, then I'm going to assume the boyfriend role. And I'm going to do the things that are necessary to do that. So because essentially you go from girlfriend to fiance to wife. So I've always took the first step as important. So yeah, they are important. I don't know what these kids doing these days, so I don't know if it's as important as when I was back on the market, you know. Which might be soon after this damn broadcast, but
Wow. Oh, I feel there's some commitments to this title, but if there's no engagement ring after a year or a few, then he or she is playing games. Here goes the saying, why buy the cow when the milk is free?
Yeah. Which goes to my point and how I feel about this. The girlfriend and the boyfriend title is of importance because it separates and defines where your relationship is at that moment in time. But it also, in contrast to that, it also has limitations. I'm not going to treat you like a wife. So if you find that our relationship doesn't quite look like your best friend, it's because your best friend, you know, your best friend is probably being treated like a wife and will probably never become one. Because y'all playing married now.
All right, so now we're talking, take it away from adults, and we're going to go now to middle schoolers. How are you going to be explaining this to them? Girlfriend and boyfriend,
girl ain't having no
there are no titles. Those don't really hold any importance.
They hold the highest importance. My little girl ain't got. She already into that boyfriend girlfriend stuff. I'm like, you ain't got no boyfriend. It's bad, man. Don't have no girls, man.
I'm fighting it every day, man. Don't worry.
Don't have no girls, man. I can't do it because she's already in that stage to where, because she sees me and my wife and she wants to have, she understands things and she understands the word marriage and all that stuff. It just gets tough to where you have, as a father, you have to kind of slow her down because these words have actual meaning. So, you know, thank you for just bringing up really deep stuff. You know.
I have real conversations on here, man. Right?
I'm not ready, man. I've been away for a while, man. I ain't ready. I've been.
You've been conquering YouTube. I see you out there.
Nah, man, I'm good. I'm humble, man.
And that's why I was laughing, trying to get you away from that other question. Like, let's go on and move on. Moving on.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Me? Oh, I was because okay, so this is where it gets confusing because like when it's happening, there's like this heavy importance in it and people, you know, look at you as like a couple and it has status, has value. But when the breakup happens, if the breakup happens, they'll typically say like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, you know, more will come. But that doesn't happen with like a divorce. Like divorces are seen as like something major. But like when your daughter has her first breakup, you're gonna be like, oh, it's not a big deal, it's just a boyfriend. They're gonna say those words, but that's basically what's said. And that's where it's kind of hard, where it's like, it's seen a bit more as disposable, even though it has importance.
All right, because I do understand that, and I do understand, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend.
It's totally disposable.
They don't hold that much importance, but we're really just telling kids like, okay, this person that you think you may have feelings for, I mean, they're just your boyfriend, they're just your girlfriend. It's not that important to you.
Mm-hmm.
How are they supposed to? Are we training them to not be able to fully commit to someone by telling them things like that?
That's a good question.
Ooh.
No.
Stump you there, didn't I?
I don't know. I don't think I can go yet because I like terms. That's why I like terms like significant other.
Okay. Right. So sit on that for a little bit, and I want you guys to also tackle this one a little bit.
All right.
My
So
ex-boyfriend felt that I was going to be there. You know what? Were you going to answer the question?
yeah,
Okay, go for it.
what
And
you
then
just
we'll read
said,
this one out.
because this question or that one right there, okay?
No, what I asked.
What you asked, yeah. When you keep it away, that increases motivation. Not having a lot of it. So if the girlfriend and boyfriend gave the same power as a husband and wife, there was no need to ever get married.
Mm-hmm.
But when a girlfriend is like, it's just a boyfriend, it's just a girlfriend, that's conditioning them to move forward because they want the next step.
Okay.
There's no reinforcement there.
Interesting. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Absence of importance breeds motivation.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Let's tackle this real quick. My ex-boyfriend felt that I was going to be there and take care of him when he gets sick, and his feelings was hurt when I checked his ass. Was I wrong? You know what? Danielle, I want to start with you, Danielle. Let's go. She's still going to be alive.
What? What? I don't think she was wrong.
Yeah? Okay. Go ahead.
If he wanted more, then he should have stepped up to motivate her to do more. Obviously, she didn't feel like he was doing what he needed to do to motivate her to invest more.
Or maybe she's not wife material.
We don't know off of what she said. We don't know. Well, what I heard was that he wasn't the one. That's what I heard. It was nothing about what her qualifications were. That was all about him. And she didn't see that in him. So no, she wasn't wrong. And obviously, she didn't because she said her ex. They're not even together no more.
Oh yeah, because he was sick. So this is when you leave him. Take him out back like old Yeller. Put him down. When they get sick. That's what you got to do with men.
I mean, sick how? Y'all catch the flu and act like y'all dying.
Listen, I stubbed my toe the other day. I almost called the ambulance. All right, so you
see what I'm saying? Ridiculous.
E-Black, what do you think of this?
Yes, she was wrong. I mean, like I said, if I take the role, this is why I say the role of girlfriend, boyfriend is a very serious situation. Because if I put you as a girlfriend, I expect certain actions from you. If I'm sick, I expect a call. I expect you to, if you have a car, go get me some soup and bring me some soup. I don't expect you to be my mom, but I expect something. So if you're not doing this stuff, then you're not my girlfriend. You're just another female that I'm associating and having sex with. So
I mean, because I knew Danielle was going to agree with that. I felt it. I felt Danielle was going to agree with that. Chris, what do you think before I go?
Yeah, so this one, I think this is where a lot of people don't understand why I don't use the term. So I'm called a girlfriend. And I don't mind when other people refer to my partner as my boyfriend. Like, I don't try and limit how people refer to him. I just know that I don't refer to him that way because I make it clear to myself personally that there's more to come, that I'm hoping for more to come. I think that when you accept to be in a certain phase, like the girlfriend boyfriend phase, it's kind of like being in an interview in a sense, and it does mean something to that other person. And there is another half to it that you have to consider, no matter what title you put on it. If you care about somebody, I'm not going to rely on a title to determine whether or not I'm going to help them through something difficult. You know what I mean? That's just a part of being, yes, you can want more, but there's something in there that's just a part of, how can I say this? You've already come this far, help them. If you want something more, there's other ways to express that. that isn't, leaving someone high and dry. Because I think there are certain expectations people have from just close friends. And if you allowed yourself to become someone's girlfriend, I think it's important to understand that there is a certain level of vulnerability, a certain level of trust, a certain expectation that they're going to have for you. Just like if you have someone that's a best friend and you kind of categorize them away from your other friends, there are certain things that I think you should do for them out of just the kindness of your heart. And in situations like this, instead of looking at the title, it's more so, would this person do this for me? It's reciprocity. It's not duty.
Let's break it down. So if you were sick and you called a friend and they didn't come and bring you chicken noodle soup, you wouldn't feel a certain way. But your best friend, the title of a best friend, you expect it, right? So if I give a woman a girlfriend, I expect certain actions with it. So I think that kind of goes in the same realm as when we give people these titles, we expect certain actions that come from those actions. Now, if she's just a regular person I'm just jumping off with, then I don't expect the actions. And then she gets treated in that way. In fact, when I did get sick, when I was single, I treated everybody the same way because I knew what it was. I knew that I wasn't nothing. Okay, then you getting put in that spot then.
See, I think I would need to know more about her relationship and why she didn't want to do that for him. See, because the whole thing is like, okay, I accepted you as my boyfriend. So, but you expected me to bring you soup. But perhaps I was expecting something from you that I didn't receive either. So you can't expect something from me that you're not willing to do. You're giving me this title, so we on this interview. But so far you failing. But you expecting me to pass. It don't work like that.
I guess why not fire them from the job as opposed to have them sit there and expect better pay when they're doing a crappy job?
What I missed? I heard something about pay.
So, to me, this question, my ex-boyfriend felt that I was going to be there and take care of him when he gets sick, and his feeling was hurt when I checked his ass. Even in the courting phase back in the day, you still cared about the person that you were courting, right?
Yeah.
Like you still care to some extent when they got sick.
Caring and me doing stuff is two different things.
Say that again.
Caring and me removing myself and altering my life because you're sick are two totally different things. Oh, I'm so sad you're sick. I'm so sad that you're sick. I'm going to bring you some chicken soup. Hope you feel better. That's it. That's the extent of it. I acknowledge you as a human being.
To me, that's still care.
Yeah, but I know what she's talking about, and this is not that. I know exactly what she's talking about. Taking care of, that's different. I'm going to acknowledge you as a human being, but that's it. You understand? I've been in 2 milk-for-free relationships. I have children with both of them. Okay? And I had reasons why they never got a pay raise. They never got the promotion. Ever. Did I say never? Ever got the promotion. You have to work for that promotion. And if I don't give it to you, we're not going to get married. You're just not going to get it. And you're going to be placed in you're the girlfriend. Hell, from a girlfriend, you can go to be a friend and you can go to break up, or you can become a wife. For me to marry you, I need to see value in you. I need to know, because when it all said and done, it's got to be value. I have five core beliefs that if we share them, you have some value. If we're compatible, more value. If we complement each other, more value. And if you look at all this together, the way we move as a team, the way we problem solve, that all creates value. Do I have peace when I come home? Value. It's been a year, 2 years. We've not had any blowouts. We've had disagreements. We've debated. There was a winner or a loser, or we decided to break even or draw, but nothing major and nothing going to bed mad. You know, you move in your femininity. You have all this value. You're sweet to me. You respect me. You cuddle with me. You leave me alone when I'm there, because so I can think. You're gonna get promoted. But if you don't, we'll be friends. At this point, I wouldn't stay, because I can be by myself. I'm so cool with being by myself. The only thing a girlfriend can do is get demoted to just stay on the same plane as just a good friend. You a good friend.
I wonder, like, I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
No, go ahead.
I wonder how she checked him. I think that's what I'm struggling with. I think it makes sense to say, like, oh no, honey, I will take care of my husband if that's what you want. To make that clear, make boundaries clear that way.
Facebook drop.
And all of that, the way she phrased it, let me know that he was not on his job. That she had an issue with him. The fact that she had to check him, to me, sounded like he was expecting more than what he was worth. He was expecting her to do more than what he was given.
Or he was already getting more and just pushing it a little farther.
She don't sound like somebody was giving more. She don't sound like somebody was giving more.
But
she sounded like somebody who he wasn't doing enough.
Possibly, yeah.
Possibly. Write a little bit more if you want the panel to tackle some of your questions. But we will be moving on to the next question for the panel. If men should be focusing on purpose and growth, should there be focus on relationships? If men should be focusing on purpose and growth, should there be any focus on relationships?
If you want one.
Actually, John, let's start it.
No. You put that on hold. What? You ain't worthy yet. Think about everything we've been talking about tonight. If you're on your grind, if you're on purpose and growth, be on purpose and growth until you hit your goal. All you're gonna do is you're gonna have another person in there, a detractor that's gonna pull away from that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, let's say, can you hear me? Man, why y'all? There ain't no background noise at nowhere. At no point at that one spot in time, I'm like,
No, you're still good.
Did it go out? Okay. So let's say you are a guy, and I'll use part of me as an example. Let's say I didn't have any kids or none of that, and I'm on my growth, and I'm on my goal, and I've got my life planned out. Then I meet somebody. This would have been suitable years ago. So I meet somebody, and I'm on my purpose and growth. But now somebody redefines your purpose because you just added somebody to you. Now your goals start to alter just a little bit. Just a little bit. Maybe they don't live in the same city with you. Maybe they live in Florida. Now you have to stop what you're doing a little bit and make that adjustment. And you're going to make that adjustment. Because as a man, a woman has a stronger reinforcement buddy than school, purpose, or your growth. A woman can stunt growth. She can stop it. Just like that. Make you change your entire mind. Just like that. And it ain't about being weak. It ain't about being none of that. It's about being a man. And a woman is a very strong reinforcer of men, period. She can speak a war into existence, and she can stop one, all with her mouth. Just speak it and it shall be. Like, period. So now you need to focus on yourself at that point so that she can get a polished product, not potentially derail you. Because that's when kids and stuff start coming into play. Now
So-
everything changes.
Chris, stand on your square because I saw you nodding your head. All right. What do you think?
Well, I was thinking, like, at some point he has to, like, I'm thinking about it kind of. So at some point, I feel as though if he's gotten far enough, it makes sense for him to kind of start to expand. Like, at this point, you know, he has a home, he's well established, he has a car, happy with this job, but he's still like growing his income, growing his retirement. I think it'll be fine for him to kind of want to settle down and want to fill his house with kids. I think I don't know, what John was saying makes sense if you're like getting into that, but I feel like there's along that path, there's somewhere where I think a man is good enough. He can kind of bring in a woman to help him kind of continue growing, you know, so he can, you know, find someone to add to his value. It's kind of like if you're running a business and you bring on an employee so you can scale more. That's how I was thinking about it. So like at some point you're going to reach like you're growing, you're going to kind of reach your peak. And then I think it makes sense to kind of bring somebody on, help you see things differently and help you kind of expand. Mm-hmm. That was the mindset that I was thinking.
And to her defense a little bit, that's what I mean when I say early. That's why I said like early on, like me early on. Like me early on, no, you can forget it. Didn't work. I pushed everybody away because the moment I tried to let somebody in, they immediately got in my way. And I talked about this on other podcasts. They immediately got in my way. Wanted my time, too much of my time. I had stuff that was more important to do. And that's just the way that was. But later on, it's fine. Now it's fine. It's easy because I'm right there at the finish line. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm right there. Granted, the research is going to take a while, over a year. The preparation stages takes a semester, 2 semesters, but that's okay. I'm here. I'm right there at the finish line. Couldn't it get derailed? Yeah, but I don't see it. Not by her. It won't. I'll let a woman go before I do that. I'm just telling you. And that includes Miss Black Wall Street. She'd have to kick dust if she got in my way. She knows that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That's fact. Jesse, welcome back.
Sorry about that. Speaking of priorities, I just had to deal with something and take care of something. But thanks
no
for
worries, man. What do you think of the question? If men should be focusing on purpose and growth, should there be focus on relationships?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I mean, I think it's like anything. We try to. The key word is balance, and I think that's something everybody struggles with. And it's a very difficult thing to do. But I think if you are pursuing a relationship, you better be ready for it. And if you're not, I think it's responsible to say, it might hurt somebody in the short term, but in the long term, it probably saves a lot of heartache if you say, I can't commit to this. If you got other commitments, I think that's okay. But if you go into it, you better go into it. If you go into it and you're going to be half-hearted, I think that's not fair to yourself. That's not fair to the other person. That's pretty much it. I think focusing on growth is really, really important. But if you're going to get in a relationship, you better make sure you're not hurting that other person.
So there's a lot of talk like going on different YouTube channels where they're meant to be focusing on like their purpose.
A lot of crunching,
yeah. Men should be focusing on their purpose and kind of put women on the back burner because going after women kind of requires a lot of time and attention. Can you truly get a balance on chasing women as well as chasing your career? Jesse.
Oh, you're shooting that one to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if I think I could answer that with it. Man, I'm going to paraphrase it. I can't remember the quote, but there was this thing I heard from Bob Marley that was really cool. All women are trouble, but the right one. I'm totally butchering it. I don't remember it. It's something like, basically it's like the right woman's worth it. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to Google that. But I remember seeing that, and I thought that's pretty cool. Let me Google that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. The right woman is worth it. To the question before, give me 1 second. Real quick for you, Jesse. This is what we're talking about before. We're tackling this real quick. My ex-boyfriend felt that I was going to be there and take care of him when he gets sick, and his feelings was hurt when I checked his ass. She asked, was I wrong? And she said, me earlier, I was there and I gave 110%, but I learned, and now that I've ended the relationship, he's still expecting me to be there. Why? This was a 2-year relationship that ended not well.
Oh man, there's so much in that. I kind of got lost there. Oh,
That's to the panel. That's to the panel. That's to everyone too, and not just you. So
I'm glad it's not just me. I found the thing. By the way, it's if she's amazing, she won't be easy. If she's easy, she won't be amazing. If she's worth it, you won't give it up. If you give it up, you're not worthy. Truth is, everybody is going to hurt you. You just got to find the ones worth suffering for.
that's good.
Mr. Robert Nesta Marley.
We'll get the kids involved in that one. Right? There we go. All right. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that other question was
100%.
hard. There's so many parts to it.
E-Black. If men should be focusing on purpose and growth, should there be focus on relationships?
Yeah, that's the tough part because we're humans. Our lives, the reason why we're on this earth is for relationships, whether we want to believe it or not. We're here to be, you know, women are here to be our helpmates. Men are to be here to, I don't know.
Protect.
I don't even know anymore. But
Protect and provide.
Yeah, provide. So, stuff like that, I guess. But essentially, yeah. We're a majority. What I've always said, which has been always my mantra, is that when you die on your obituary, the first 2 paragraphs are going to be about your relationships. It's going to tell you how many children you have. It's going to say how many children they had. They're going to always be about relationships. They're not going to be about what you did in your life in terms of who you work for, how much money you made. Yeah. They're always going to be the first 2 paragraphs. And the reason why is because the most important things to a human experience is the relationships that you're in. Now, given that, whether you should be living, I've always said, men should be living in their purpose. They should be always looking for growth. The problem is that you could see a lot of men in the fact, women who've bypassed human relationships for purpose and growth. And you can see how jaded they are. You can see the want, the need. And then they've learned the hard lesson of life in which they spend so much time focusing on themselves and their personal gains and their aspirations that they've bypassed, and they are no longer able to communicate with other people who have spent more time on relationships. So it's a balancing act. It's definitely a balancing act. But I will say this, that men definitely should focus on purpose and growth. That way they should be able to provide the necessary healthy relationships with the women. Women, I'm sorry, but you guys should be balancing your own purpose, your own growth, but also seeking the guidance of a man so they can have, so you guys can make a healthy relationship. Women who are totally engulfed in the purpose and growth, personal purpose and growth, in my opinion, stereotypically, do
Stand on your
not have
square, bro.
the.
Stand on your square. Stand on your square.
I just don't want. I just don't want my opinion to be everybody's
Bro,
opinion.
nah, your opinion is my opinion, and it's probably Clement's opinion too, and any other real man.
Yeah.
What go on and say it, because I'm gonna stand on it with you. We stand in this together. Go ahead.
10 toes down.
So, but essentially, you know, women who usually have stayed in their purpose and growth have lacked the emotional wherewithal to maintain a relationship with men,
exactly.
and they find themselves in hard positions to actually enter a relationship because most men do not require growth; they want to grow with somebody.
That's true.
That's true.
So it's a balancing act between men and women. They both have different they have different objectives in life, but fine for men, yes. And the only reason why for men, yes, is because essentially you're still trying to provide the environment for your relationship with your woman. You're providing that environment.
Danielle.
If you don't want to provide the environment for your woman, then yeah, you don't have to worry about your purpose and growth, and then you can be with any woman you want for on any level. But
Danielle,
good luck with that.
I think
I knew Danielle.
that.
Let's go.
So if you have a woman that you know that you want, no matter where you are on your journey, then you need to grab her, because whatever you see, the more she's out there, someone else is also going to see. And so while you being in your purpose and growing, when you get to where you're going and you try to reach for her, she's going to be taken by someone else who had the courage to reach for her whenever they did.
I totally agree.
So if you don't have somebody that you feel that way about, then I agree that you should just be in your purpose, because then you out there just searching, and that can take you off your square. But don't find her and let her go, because somebody else go find her too.
I agree.
Yeah. And that's why I definitely say it once you're into it and you and everything is shaping up. And once you reach the point of where nothing is gonna derail you. Cause I know I'm like this. I'm not gonna be searching once I hit that end line. No, once everything is official and that candidate goes away, now whoever is with me is with me. Whoever is not, I'm single. And that's just real. Because I'm gonna place a stronger emphasis on the person who suffered with me, the person who listened to me when I was upset because something didn't go my way, or the person who listened to me when I had to redo something over and over and over, that saw that frustration, and she was there with that pain, and she was playing in my hair and rubbing my ears, calming me down. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, man, I just want to go do something different. And she kept me grounded. You know what I'm saying? I should just do this. And I'm reaching out to her for her to say, I won't think less of you if you go ahead and do something different. But see, that's not the kind of woman you want. You want the one that's going to stay 10 toes down, be like, nah, look, you need to stay where you at. I'm good. We good. The kid's good. Go. You invested all this time. I'm here. You being an asshole, but I know why. You're not mad at me. You're not mad at the kids. It's what you're going through. and I'm right here with you going through it. I got respect for that woman. She will get the promotion. But for me to reach the end point like a simp and
So
just
she
go
got
try
your
to add
kids and
somebody,
everything before
like,
she got promoted.
no way, bro. Huh?
Y'all done went through a whole. I said, so she got your kids and all this whole life that you done built together before she didn't got promoted. That's a lot to go through.
That's a lot to go through, but I mean, when you're
but
down,
ain't none of my baby mamas getting promoted, and they've been paid. They know that. Like they hey and bye. That's where we at.
I think the real test I would say for probably men is like when you're down. When you're down, will she actually be there? If you're gonna have a kid with someone that will
I
leave
need
you
a
this way,
rider.
you missed
I
a
like
paycheck.
riders. Ride or die chick.
Can't you find out if she ride or die before you give her a kid?
Well, no, I already got kids.
I'm just saying, like, that whole scenario was a lot to go through. For you to have not promoted a person, for you to have not known what is what.
That's why boundaries are important.
Yeah, but that's how you get promoted. That's an example of how you get promoted. It goes beyond that. That goes beyond. It goes beyond. Okay, so she cook, she do this, she do that, she stay. Okay, but is she loyal? Because see, people misconstrue faithful and loyal. Loyal and faithful are not the same things. Faithful don't mean loyal. Loyal don't mean faithful. Faithful is referencing infidelity. Loyalty is referencing staying power. You can cheat and never go nowhere.
We're going to tackle this comment real quick. Before that, if you're just coming in, welcome to CKQ Podcast. Do me a favor and hit that like button. We've had some great questions throughout all the panelists. We're going to go over everyone once again in the end of the stream. But if a woman loves you, she's going to support you. She will build that purpose and family. Once a woman is hurt because of your BS and you continue to do you with no regards for kids or feelings, bye. You can co-parent, but you can't co-bullshit. Yep. Actually, I meant to do that would have been
one thing I wanted to add, I'll say this: women are more than likely to leave a man if they're not in their purpose and growth than men are to leave women who are not in their purpose and growth.
Yep.
A woman can naturally rest in her own situation more than a man can. So I that's why I preferenced it in terms of what men should do.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Is my mic on? Hold on.
Your mic's on.
I think we're just taking that in. We're taking that in, man. Taking that in.
Letting it all soak in. I think it's playing off to what Danielle said, just because she also commented and asked me a question about one of my older videos where I was pretty much made a video saying that I think it's just smarter for me to stay single now and just kind of focus on my purpose. And since then, that was almost six months ago now, my views have shifted a little bit. And it's playing into what she was pretty much just saying, which is, if I am able to find someone that I find is a quality person, then yes, I could see wanting to move forward ahead in time with them. But you have to be in the right mental state for that. You can focus on your purpose all you want, but that's still working purpose, mind state versus being in a wanting to actually grow a life with someone is two different mindsets.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can be a great boss, you can be a great worker, you can be a phenomenal person in that, but when it comes to relationships, you cannot hold a single relationship for your life. And I think if men should be focusing on their purpose and growth, should they be focusing on relationships? I think you do need to be working on your relationship skills, though. it doesn't have to be I'm chasing women left and right, but it has to be talking to women and discerning what you actually want in a woman and not.
Yep.
And that's the only way you're going to find that is that's practice. You got to
Because
keep doing it over and
but
over.
that's part of your purpose. That's part of your purpose. It's like E Black said, we're not here to be single. That's why we're made the way we are. But you also have to understand who you are. And you need to work. That's part of moving in your purpose. But jumping into a full-blown relationship, when you get into a relationship, when you get into a relationship, you are starting to learn how to move with that person. Everybody can agree with that. But when that relationship moves forward into marriage, y'all are no longer individuals, because you can't be in a marriage and be an individual. Because if you get sick and die, I'm legally required to handle that situation, and vice versa. If something happens to me, it affects you. See, that's the difference between a dependent variable and an independent variable. An independent variable, you manipulate it. Dependent variables stay the same. You understand what I'm saying? You just measure it. So we're correlated. When you get manipulated, I get manipulated. We're the same. We're both the independent variable. Period. So there's no way that can't affect you.
Not true. Women are more likely to stay and try and cry and cry and cry until we run out of tears. Then we stop trying and we stop hurting and then we stop caring. That's just how it is.
I don't know what she was responding to when she.
That was for E Black, because I believe he said women are more likely to leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, eventually, I'm being very general. This is not to each individual woman on the planet. I'm just being very general. That most time, if their man is not living in their purpose or showing growth, that they're more than likely will leave the situation.
But I think what the comment was saying is that it wouldn't happen immediate. Women don't do stuff abruptly. It takes time. Of course. And that's when they got those things out there like, well, when your woman gets silent on you, then it's a problem.
Oh, it's a big problem.
That mean that she didn't try and you haven't moved. So if she leaves you, it's not that she haven't gave you a chance.
Yeah.
It's just that you haven't, stepped up.
But how many times have you heard of a man say, "Oh, I left Charlene because she wasn't trying anymore to get her law degree, or because she wasn't trying to do," like, men don't leave because of those reasons.
I don't think that women leave because you didn't get a law degree either. A woman is not going to cry because you don't have a law degree. A woman is going to cry because you're just not treating her the way she want to be treated. Some women it's money, some women it's not. That part is what's different for every woman. But
I can dig that. Danielle,
you're not moving awesome, forward. Thank you. But you're not moving forward and making a certain amount of money. If a woman is happy with you, it would not matter.
Yeah.
To some.
I did say to some.
Yeah, to some. But
if she materialistic, that is not the type of woman.
You most likely want that off the rip if she's materialistic. That's how the relationship started.
Yeah, like she really, but some of them hide it.
John, you and I actually talked about this earlier, which is how a man starts a relationship is how he sets a tone for how the relationship is going to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
If you started off as a materialistic type of relationship,
then it's going to keep heading that direction. So if you lead with your wallet from the beginning, you can't. Why are you going to fault her after you done got her conditioned to it? You conditioned her. You don't know if she was a gold digger. She could have been a person who liked to go 50-50, but you big baller. You have a low self-esteem. You have no faith in your charm and other intangible things that you bring to a relationship. So you just put your Here, girl. See, you messing with a real player now. Where you feel me? I can do this for you. I can do that for you. Well, go on, daddy. Let me see. Let me see. And they say years go by, you don't got used to this. Well, when it stopped, because you wasn't a big baller, just in your mind, and she's bored because you lost sense of self, sight of who you are, and you trying to figure out how to get that money back because you feel like it's being lost, and she move on. She was just a gold digger. No, you was just a simp. A simp with low self-esteem, like most simps, all simps.
That is
Low
absolutely how I feel
self-esteem.
about men who lead with their wallet. Men
Yeah,
who used to approach me that way, like would not even get my number because it's like if that's how you come at me, it make me feel like you don't have any more to offer. It's horrible.
and you got guys who really think that's the ticket. That's how they women is, all of them.
Yeah.
Jesse, Chris, what are you guys thinking?
I just wonder. So with that mentality that women, so I'm struggling with this idea that women want to grow with men. And then going back to what E Black was saying, like if they don't grow fast enough, or if they don't grow, they don't move forward at a rate that they think is acceptable, that they'll leave. I feel like for the men on the panel, do you feel as though, like when a woman says, I want to grow with you, do you actually believe her? Knowing kind of like seeing what you see on YouTube and men, hearing their stories.
I think it's the same way. It's actually, honestly, me personally, now more than ever, I would say 6 months ago, I would have probably said the same thing that you're doing, but now more than ever, I would say that it goes both ways. You don't listen to either. You watch their actions, what their actions actually say. So for men and women, she can say she wants to be with you all you want, or he could say I can be with you all I want, but both actions will actually truly show what they actually feel for you.
Yeah, I think it's more or less age cap too. I think certain women at a certain age are not willing to grow as much. They're looking for, the gratification of the work that they've put in for the last, say, 10 years. 30-year-old, 40-year-old women. I think they're less likely to do that. In terms of your mid-20s, I think they are looking for that special growth situation. But like I said, I could be wrong on that. I just think that, like I said, that's why a lot of times you do want to get in these relationships earlier on when you're in life, so you can have more incentive to grow with somebody. However, when you've already established yourself, already bought your first car, bought your house, went to multiple trips out of the country, it's hard to kind of say I'm growing with you when I've experienced most of the things that growth entails. So
you already have so many experiences, so it's a little hard to.
It's more like.
So I think it's definitely age and experience capped in that type of conversation. I am terrible. I don't know what's going on with me today. Oh my god!
It's at a certain point. Do you think the fact that they've either sex has experienced too much will now hinder them?
Say that again.
At a certain age, do you think the fact that either sex has experienced too much of life, do you think that it can hinder them?
It can, depending on how they cope with it. It can. On either sex. Like I think either sex, a man can stay single too long, and a woman can stay single too long, because a man has to learn how to share with you anyway. And once you learn that, these were the exciting years when you first learn how to share, and then share your space with somebody else. You get somebody like me who I ain't had to share it with nobody for a minute, except for my kids. And I feel indebted to them like I'm their dad. That's hard. Like, that's hard. I know it's hard because I'm not trying to hear anybody's mouth. That's why, it's gotta be we gotta fit. I'm not young John no more. I'm old cantankerous John. And it can be my way or no way. And I promise you it can. Because I don't
I
need
like
you
the
for
way
nothing.
you use cantankerous. I love that.
I'm just being honest. I know how I am. I'm fussy as hell. I mean, it don't take much at all. Like, I get annoyed waking up some days. I stretch the wrong way and I'm mad as shit the rest of the day. Like,
That's
ow!
the tone of your day.
Yeah,
Is
set
that
the
hard
whole
stretch
tone
with
for
that
my
pop?
day. I hate everybody. What you looking at? You just happy because you young. That's it. That's all.
That's all you got.
Why you sitting down? You should be up moving around. You move freely. I sound like Rice Krispies when I get up. Crack.
Okay. So closing comments to what we just said, and we're gonna go on to the last question for the panel. Also, OMG, 20 years old, 40 old. He makes me feel really old. But last question to the panel. If you can gain money and raise a family, do you need religion in your life? If you can gain money and raise a family, do you need religion in your life?
CK,
Jesse,
what
let's
have you
start
been
with you.
doing with the questions, man? What have you been doing?
If you could gain money and raise a family, well, I think that's a big problem with America right now. It's loss of God. It's loss of a moral compass. I didn't have a problem saluting the flag. I didn't have a problem with patriotism. I didn't have a problem with, and I lost my faith. I didn't believe in God for a very long time.
Was there a reason?
Oh, there were reasons that I'm not going to talk about now.
Yeah, that's
I just met you, motherfuckers. I love you guys, though.
I done told you a story about my 18-year-old and my family. And
Everyone broke down on you. We were almost in tears.
Yeah.
I'm shy. I'm
Just
shy.
like
I know. I seemed from earlier that was all a defense mechanism. By the way, it's being a goofball, so you don't have to talk about real shit. I try to avoid talking real shit as much as I can. But anyway, so but obviously I came back. I think this is pretty cool. Yeah. So my wife's faith is amazing. Her love for God, her attitude in general is like mind-boggling, and I wish it's an inspiration, really, the way she feels about things, and I think you can have a moral compass. A lot of people will tell you, oh well, I love the trees and I love nature and whatever, and they'll say I'm spiritual, I'm this, I'm that. Okay, whatever. You don't need religion, or I've heard a lot of talking points. The bottom line is America's lost its way, and there's a lot of issues, and there's a lot of things going on right now, and the loss of God and the loss of moral compass, in my opinion, is has a lot to do with it.
Okay. Well said. Danielle?
I think that those things, having money and all those things that you named, are for the now. And religion teaches you how to live now. But religion is for the everlasting life. So that's cool to have a good life here on earth. But religion is more focused on the ultimate goal that I will believe most people have, which is to go to heaven. I mean, if you believe in heaven and hell, I don't think that anybody's goal is to go to hell. And so if you believe in heaven and hell, religion is what you need to get to your ultimate goal, which is to go to heaven. So that is so wonderful to have money and power and influence and respect. But it's more important to have a religion.
I want to go after
John?
Danielle.
You said what? Oh.
I said I wanted to go after you.
Yeah.
So,
Call her in.
so I'm gonna touch on her and what J-Bo said. J-Boo.
Jabu.
All right. Her and Jabu or Jesse. So if you can gain money and raise a family, do you need religion in your life? You know, a lot of people that I've seen that don't have religion in their life. They have some people I know they have money and they have a family, but they don't have a happy family. The family is broken in so many different ways. From the outside, they look good, but on the inside, they have no moral compass. And because they don't have a moral compass, there's infidelity, but they stay together because they have money and they know apart the money, they can't live that same lifestyle. So they just stay. And then when you do that, you get children who are watching this misery. And then the children decide they don't want no parts of it. So then they live this alternative lifestyle. And you all know where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
And because they never had anything to believe in, so they fell for everything.
Man, you freaking
religion, whether it's you're a Muslim or whether you're a Christian, the Quran's teachings are very similar to the same ones in the Bible. They are very similar. The biggest difference is the prophet. That's the biggest difference. Okay. A lot of the tenets are the same. Okay. And you learn how to manage money by reading the word and studying the word. You learn how to be a good husband by reading the word and studying the word. You learn how to be a proper wife by reading the word and study. So if you can't master those things, the fact that you have money and you have children you have produced, but I wouldn't call it a family, you have nothing. So the answer is no. You need, the answer is yes, you need religion in your life, regardless of what you think, regardless of what you heard on a YouTube channel, regardless of any of those things. The proof is in America right now. You're looking at what happens when there is no moral compass in place, when there is no foundational principles. You have when a human is left to just come up with what they want, you get 100 personality disorders, you get 19,000 different pronouns, you get all these things that make no sense, that don't support evolution, does not propagate the species, and that's what you have. And I'm done. And I'm gonna drop the mic on that one.
You dropped that shit. That was fucking.
That was good. That was good.
That was very good.
Chris.
I don't know. This is really hard. I think.
What?
Hold on.
Got excited. I thought you were going back on everyone's word. And I was like, whoa, this is a first
We're going
time.
back on what?
I thought you were about to flip the script on everyone. I was going to be very impressed with you.
Well, I was going to say no.
Okay. Continue. I'll shut up.
Well, I think it depends on how you look at religion, but I don't think you need religion. I think you need direction. I think if you have the ability to gain resources, you need to have a path to understand how to use those resources wisely. Do I think that has to be through religion? I'm biased because I was baptized in the church, but I know lots of people who are not involved in the church, but they have very, very similar moral compasses as I do. And so that's why I'm struggling. I don't think that you need religion, but I think that you do need a certain set of values that we can say are based on religion. But like, for example, My grandfather is atheist. My mother never went to church. She absolutely hates church. She does not subscribe to any type of religion. Um, but she was an amazing housewife and will always be like, was always there for her husband. Um, and so that's the type of household that I grew up in. I actually went to church on my own. Both of my parents didn't like church. My dad grew up Baptist though, but neither of them went to church. But they had amazing values even without it. So I don't think that you need religion, but I do think that you need direction. And I think that's what religion provides a lot of people.
So where's that direction come from if it's not religion?
For me, it came from the church. For my mom, I don't really know where it came from, but it wasn't the church.
Religion, no? But isn't the church religion?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For me, it was that. But my mom, she didn't grow up. Her dad was atheist. My grandmother also didn't go to church, so she didn't grow up in a religious household at all. And she doesn't subscribe to any type of religion. But she has a lot of values that we would say were developed in the church. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just think that my mom she was just taught in a way that was very beneficial, very family oriented. And she just, I don't know, she's just a good person. So I'm struggling with this one, but I'll say no. I think it's just direction. And then for some people, they get that direction through religion, but other people do get it through other vehicles.
Ooh. Chris, for the first time ever in any panel, went against everyone. That
is amazing. The moment of history.
It's almost it's like
Chris a damn rebel.
I know, right?
My agreeableness dropped down like 60 points.
Okay.
Masculine energy, okay?
You know what I'm saying? Chris becoming Christopher around this month. Chris said she ain't got no level of agreeableness. I'm Christopher.
You know we're joking with you, Chris. Please don't take this to heart.
Your boy's gonna get
the next panel. I'm gonna pop up the tie. I'm gonna just like Clement.
Gonna be like, hey,
I'm gonna have a name
it's
tag.
sir. You understand?
Hollywood.
It's sir, guys. It's sir. Respect my wishes.
Did we go to E Black? E Black, did I get to you already?
Nah.
Okay.
No.
What are we talking?
You know, gosh, you make these questions so in depth. I just want to give a quick answer and go. But let me answer the second part of this. Do you need religion in your life? Yes, I think most people do need it. Most people. We're not talking all. We're not talking absolutes. Yes, there are people.
Absolute. All.
Yeah. So we're not talking everybody in the world of the people.
Everybody in the world.
But I think most people do need a religious thought because you do need to have some guidance in the way that the world works, and you know these things, whether we like to believe it or not, you know, God has His way of showing us how it goes, and His people have congregated, and we've acknowledged His purpose in us. So yes, you do need some type of religion to kind of help you understanding how to pray, submitting, getting on your knees, praying, learning what to say when you pray, learning what to look up when you're in a hard situation. These are things that religion gives you, is the way to handle life. Most people can handle life without religion. Or some people can handle life. So I don't want to be so absolute, and I don't want to be a flake, but I'm Christian. I've had my dealings with religion my whole life, but I've understood where my role is. Also, in having a child, I've realized what I need to pass to her, what I need to show her. And it takes repetition. It takes habit. It takes study.
Repetition is the mother of learning.
Yes, it takes things that, while she may still have to go out in the world and figure out how she connects to her higher power, I am providing the foundation of that through the religious state, through the religious portion of it. So yes, you do need some type of religion because it's. I would rather not play this unsafe game of leaving somebody out there without understanding why they're here or how to deal with the reality that they're in without God in their life. So in that part, yes. And if you can gain money and raise a family, that really doesn't have any much to do with it. People have to pray to God if they're millionaires and billionaires. And in fact, in my religion, if you make that much money, then it's harder for you to get into heaven. And there's reasons and there's stipulations to why. And there are things that you're supposed to be doing with your money, and things that you're supposed to be thinking about why you have this money. If you don't have the money, then you need to understand what your role into and what you need to be praying for. So, hey doctor, but that's my bit on that.
Okay, interesting. When I was making up this question, I was definitely leaning a lot more towards the avenue that Chris stated, which is if someone has a good moral compass, and they're doing. Listen, if you're telling me that if someone who is a horrible person can just repent and turn their life over and get allowed into heaven versus someone who's been a good person their whole life but just never gave their life to Christ still won't be saved. That's where more of that mentality, my mentality was with that in making this question. If you can gain all of this stuff, if you can live your life as best as you can, as moral as you can, is religion needed in it? Because religion is essentially just a compass, right? It's a moral compass. It guides you.
It's more than that.
Yeah, but how many times have you been in a forest and you don't have your compass? That's the point. Like you need a compass.
You gotta stay on that.
Yeah, but
that's what he's saying. You gotta stay on it
and try to figure out pinpoints and wind direction without all that stuff. Good luck.
Okay. And there's no GPS. There's no iPhones. It's old school Native American shit, Apache shit, where you gotta fucking find the sun and figure out how to get there.
Yes.
Some tribal shit.
Point shadow method. You need some help. That's the point of. That's my view of religion, is that you're getting a help on something that naturally you could be doing, but we've decided that these are the best methods of regulating our lives. So,
not to mention, where are you gonna get your morals from? You're not born good. You're born evil. You're born bad. Babies even lie.
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, you are born to lie.
I wouldn't say
you born a sinner, and you born into lying, with the propensity to do all things bad.
Well,
you learn to be good.
You're right.
You're sending all babies to hell now, man. Where are we going here, man?
Well, no. You're conditioned to Satan.
Prove me wrong.
Day one. No, he's right.
I mean, we can laugh about it, but watch baby behavior
from day one.
You show me a child that is good. Show me one child that is good without parents. Because if that's the case, you don't need handle the truth. Show me a child that knows right from wrong without being taught. These are all taught behaviors. You don't come out, I'm good.
Children
I'm a good child. You are inherently
Children
evil.
learn how to share. They know how to pet dogs. They know how
those are involuntary reflexes that are based upon stimuli they do not understand right from wrong.
Well, that's
spoken like a true scientist. Spoken like
I'm
a
just
true
telling
scientist.
you. They do not understand right from wrong. They don't. They have to learn. And I've seen people who try to teach kids right from. If kids knew right from wrong, there would be no alternative schools. There would be no such thing as suspension. There would be no such thing as corporal punishment. But there are. Why? Because that's how you learn. They learn because they have to learn right from wrong. A baby will manipulate. A baby comes out manipulating their cries. They might cry like they're hungry and they didn't want nothing but your attention. They manipulated you to come into that room.
I don't know about that now.
Well, I do. I mean, I can't help it if you don't. I do. Like, I'm not.
Well,
If
if we're gonna go there, I do know. If we're gonna go there, I do know. So that's a natural reaction. That's a visceral reaction. That's not.
But you got to be able to distinguish between the cries.
That's not an emotion.
Those cries have different meanings. They're not all the same. A baby cries when they're scared is different than when they're hungry and when they're wet. All of them are different. It takes a little while to get trained to it, but they're all different. That is their form of communication, and that's like a fact.
How many kids?
Like any woman who ever had been a baby, has ever had a child, knows that one. As a father, it took me a little while to distinguish between the two.
Forgive me. How many kids do you have again?
3.
Yeah. Okay. Well, fair enough. You probably do know more.
But,
hey man, I give credit where
jot that down real quick.
He knows.
Cool, guys. Definitely, it's been a fun panel. Jesse, it was honestly a rocky start, but it's been great having you on the panel.
You better put all of it up, though, man. I don't want to see anything cut out, man.
I leave all my mistakes up there. This is a growing process, man. I want people to see when I'm in Kevin Samuel status, they'll look back and be like, "Oh man, where did he start from?" And then they'll see you on there with your mask and say, "Oh my God, he's still on there later on. He doesn't have his mask anymore."
He broke his mask.
And I hope I didn't offend you. I mean, the bow tie threw me off, man, because I was like, "Look at that bow tie, man!" And and the back, you look like a vampire.
2021. It throws everybody off. You know.
I was a little thrown off for a second.
No. Hey, listen. Honestly,
I like
again,
the bow tie.
I appreciate you coming on, and definitely would love to have you on future panels. Obviously, this is nerve-wracking when we all meet for the first time. That's why I usually do that quick little, intro meeting, so we all just kind of get used to each other before we go live. You kind of hopped in during the live, but it's all right.
Crazy as fuck,
listen.
I'm sorry about that, guys.
No, you were still a good addition to the panel, and I really appreciate you. Next time, I would love to hear a little bit more of your ideas, though. Because I still think everyone on here has learned something in their life that could be helping other people out there in the world. That's the whole idea behind this panel. We all have knowledge and we all have information that we've cultivated through our life. We've made mistakes. That's what we talked about on here. We've made mistakes that other people out there can be learning about. So,
can you have a purple necktie the next time?
No. It's always going to be red. Later on. Maybe when I hit 1,000 subs, I'll switch up the bow tie. Ooh, that'd be a cool one.
We're gonna give him a double Windsor knot tie.
No,
give him a clip on.
It's a good start contrast. I'm just thinking as an artist. I'm just thinking like color theory to really have that pop in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe solid white, and then that red of the bow tie will really pop. The black. Yeah. It's not funny, man. What are you talking?
We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at CK.
I'm laughing at something else.
What did I do? I was listening.
I'm laughing at CK because I know CK face when he's like.
It's my face, man.
Is he pissed that I'm giving him ideas?
No. Listen, I was listening, man. It makes sense because when you said white, because all I was thinking was, okay, a white background would make this pop a little bit more.
Everything's gonna.
But against the dark skin, it don't work like that, man. I'm trying to tell you, he's gonna have to have a light front on the front of his side, and then
I could help him out with that. And if that was red and brighter, it's gonna be interesting.
All right. Hey, listen. Still in the start. Hasn't been a year yet, but we're still growing.
When do you get a
gear? Other than that, it's been a amazing panel, and we're gonna go on to one last time.
Hi. Again, my name is Chris. I have a channel called The Blooming Ebony. Pretty soon, I'm going to introduce some vlogs for you all, kind of documenting my journey to being, a wife. and how to do it and still be self-sufficient and contribute to the household. You can follow me on Instagram, where I try to post fairly regularly, but I also go live on there every once in a while. And I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Please subscribe to CKQ Podcast, and also like and comment on this video if you're watching the replay.
Hi, my name is Danielle. You can find me on YouTube at My Sister's Keeper and on Instagram at Fly Nurse Mom Wife. Mr. Jesse, I think it was so courageous of you to come back on and admit what was going on in the beginning, because I think we was all a bit confused. And so for you to come back on and give clarification, I just want to say, like, thank you.
Yeah, I got anxiety problems, and yeah, I got yeah, thank you. Yeah.
E Black, my man.
Yeah, it was a great panel. I really enjoyed you guys. You know, I'm back. You know, maybe I can get more time to do this, but whenever I do have time, I make sure I'm available. But if you don't know already, you know, I'm E Black at E Black TV. You know, my channel is basically based on faith and family and fatherhood and technology. So if you guys have an opportunity, check out some of the videos I have. E Black TV, all one word. So, and thanks for everybody inviting me.
I'm John. You can find me here every week on CKQ Podcast. Like, subscribe. Make sure you share the podcast. Or you can find me at John Cornelius 8770 on Instagram, and Black Wall Street Trading LLC on YouTube.
To close out the panel, there he is.
He fell in love with it too.
The artist formerly known as Jabu Studios, Jabu. Now I no longer go by Jabu. I'm Jesse Austin Lewis. So you can look at me on YouTube on Jesse Austin Lewis. I just started the YouTube thing. I kind of hate social media of all kinds, but I decided I'll give YouTube a shot. And I also have a New Accusers podcast. I'm also doing a podcast about people that are a little different. And, you know, if they want to spread the word about music, art, venues, anything under the sun, talk to me. So
everybody loved it.
This has been an amazing show, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching, being part of the panel, especially everyone in that chat section. You guys have been killing the comment section, and honestly, I really appreciate every single one of you guys for tuning in and for keeping the chat alive, keeping this conversation alive. All of us here on the panel do really appreciate everything that you guys are saying. We don't always tackle everything, but we do appreciate everything that you guys are saying. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you truly enjoy everything that we're talking about here, subscribe to the channel. We'll go live every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. The end screen is going to say Wednesday, but it's actually Tuesday.
You got to update that.
I do. All right, I'm slacking.
I'll help you. I'll help you, man.
But until then, guys, it's been great seeing you all. Jesse, everyone knows, but just so you know, hang on until after the credits because we're still going to be in the back room, all right?
Oh, okay.
But to everyone in the chat section, it's been fun. It's been great. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
MJ on the beat, ho.
They know they shouldn't have let me start speaking my mind in the booth. Start speaking the truth. Might get shot for it, but MLK did too.
Look to the sky, ask God why innocent lives have to die. One thing I know, a flower will grow once you plant the seed inside your soul.
Now we can paint the perfect picture with without belittling each other. Cause under God's system, we really one another's brother. And the system set up just to make one another struggle. Work it out like we gaining muscle. I done seen Flint, Michigan in the inner cities. They pissing in project buildings that got a roof that leaks, resulting in missing ceilings. Hard to sleep. Children going to schools dealing issues deep. Teacher got the nerve to ask what's the feeling. He got up and started lashing out. See, it's a start. Physical display and mental destruction. Yeah, nah, that's the art. Politicians, government instructing you to do your part. It ain't hard to see they trying to keep black in the back, just like Rosa Parks. Cops shooting blacks as if they get a token from God. School rob you with needed resources, but you find